Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today we have the first official sneak peek for Infinity War Part 2 update, featuring all those characters that we saw from that splash image that I had discussed about for the May 9th potential update. So now we know for sure we're getting a uniform for Scarlet Witch. We don't know anything else yet, but that is confirmed, and so we're starting to see the pieces of that second image fall into place as we had previously predicted from a fan site, but this is legit and an official source. Now, when the update is going to drop based on this image of Wanda, of Scarlet Witch from the Twitter, it's not really clear. They didn't mention that on Twitter, on Mobram, on their official Facebook page. One thing we can use as a sort of guide to that information to predict when the update will happen, although I can't promise this, is the uniform sale. Usually uniform sales will end right before an update, usually to encourage you to spend crystals, to deplete your resources so that you'll have more to spend when the update drops, which makes sense. But that would put the next update, if we're following the calendar and we're following the uniform sale closely, on the 22nd of May. So that's kind of a tentative date for the update. That would be 22nd at night on the East Coast, and then it would be live again after 5 to 7 hours of maintenance, early in the early morning of the 23rd, like 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. Now that's not a guarantee, but that it is the possibility, and it does have some positive and negative impacts. It does mean that on the bright side, we should be getting more teasers for the rest of this week, so we should be seeing what else is coming out of this update, if there's new content, if there's changes to existing content, hopefully for like Timeline Battle, Alliance Conquest kind of thing, and different uniforms. We still have possibly Ebony Maw, Cull Obsidian, aka Black Dwarf, Rocket Raccoon, Hulkbuster, War Machine is one of the other big ones, and then possibly Star-Lord, and maybe even others that we don't know of yet. On the kind of negative or flip side, this does coincide and overlap with the I think the worldwide release, or at least the Canadian release, of Deadpool 2. So a lot of people have been speculating that we could be getting something, or they hope that we'll be getting something for Deadpool 2, perhaps Deadpool, perhaps a uniform for Cable. There hasn't been any mention of that whatsoever. I don't want to get into a discussion of the movie rights v video game rights for characters or anything like that. It would be amazing to see a Deadpool 2 update, even if it was snuck into this Infinity War Part 2 or later on. It doesn't matter. But this does take a little bit of the wind out of the sails of that speculation and of that hope that we would be getting a Deadpool 2 update, because then Marvel could just say, oh, well, we had the Infinity War 2 update, there's no time, there's no resources to do a Deadpool 2 update, because the next one we got to focus on is Ant-Man and the Wasp, because that movie comes out in like a month and a half or something. But we can still hope. I don't think this takes all of the hope away for Deadpool 2, but takes maybe 10% of it away. Anyways, back to the main point here about Scarlet Witch. The character is already in a very powerful position, so I do want to discuss a little bit the ramifications and the impact of a uniform for her. It'll definitely cost at least 1,050 crystals, like the newest kind of tier 2 uniforms are costing for characters like Spider-Man and Captain America. There is a small chance that her uniform will cost as much as Thanos's, which is 2,500 when it's not on sale, which is very expensive, but it's unlikely because we've never seen another uniform after Thanos which has cost that much. But she is a native tier 2. She is on the same level of cost as Thanos in terms of the black antimatter, in terms of the bios needed to level her up. So it's definitely a possibility. As far as her actual power level goes and how much more potential she stands to gain from a uniform, it's actually very, very high. I actually think she stands to gain more from a uniform than her brother Quicksilver, despite the fact that I put Quicksilver higher on the top 30 snapshot than I put Scarlet Witch. The thing that makes her most powerful is her Reflect. That's one of the most dangerous properties that the character has. Of course, the penetration is very powerful, but the Reflect is unique because it punishes characters like Jean Grey, who use those AoE attacks like the tornadoes, the fire tornadoes, and it basically one-shots them because they reflect all of that damage back onto themselves, and it's just too much to handle. Of course, iframes will always dodge Reflect, but it's very difficult to control in those situations where there's so many things going on the screen. And Reflect, in addition to clones, which she also has on her Hex skill, in addition to the heal, which she also has on the Reflect skill, all of those things synergize perfectly with a uniform, because uniforms will give you increased max stats. The increased all attack stat from the uniform will buff up her energy attack, which will in turn buff her reflect, because reflect is always a maximum of your attack, up to 100% of your attack maximum. So because of that, the higher Scarlet Witch's attack goes, the higher her reflect will be, the more damage they'll reflect back onto themselves, which is why Destroyer is particularly powerful, even more so than other characters who can reflect at reflecting, because his actually goes up to 150%, not 100. So that's just a little fun fact about reflect there. But that is the reason why I think that her uniform is going to be quite polarizing. It could make her, it could instantly shoot her up to the top 2 characters in the game, because her clones are going to be tankier, they're going to do more damage, her reflect is going to be more powerful, and she's going to be harder to kill because of the increased max HP from all the uniform stats, the all defense, and then the bigger heal, because it's 10% or more, but it's with more max HP because of the uniform stats, or sorry, 15% with the uniform stats. As far as her skills go, I don't really know how they could change around her uniform skills or her skills with the uniform. She definitely has a completely different playstyle in the game compared to her MCU counterpart. Her MCU counterpart, if you've seen Infinity War or if you've hopefully seen Age of Ultron, is very muted in the sense that her abilities don't really have a lot of flash. It's just a bunch of red glowing things, and then stuff moves around and she shoots out kind of energy beams from her hands, but it's not really that entertaining to watch. And I think if they just converted her skills one for one from the movie into the game, it wouldn't be all that interesting. It's kind of like Jubilee almost, except with less fireworks. But I do want to take you into a timeline battle really quickly to show you a little quirk that I'm trying to recreate. I haven't had a lot of success, but I am trying to recreate with her attacks, and why I think they could use a bit of a change. I think that a lot of Scarlet Witch's attacks are very easy to dodge, or they're rendered ineffective by iframes. And I know that sounds kind of obvious, but I think her and Adam Warlock have a similar effect, where they have cool skills and they have cool effects, but if the skill misses for whatever reason, iframe or another situation like interruption, nothing happens. She does have the lingering effect on her second skill. You can see the orbs kind of going back and forth, and she does have the clones which linger, and the fourth skill, orbs, that linger. But aside from that, and since they can be cancelled, it kind of creates a situation where you sometimes feel like your Scarlet Witch basically does nothing. In this situation, she was great. She killed Adam Warlock. She almost killed Thanos, and the reflect was instrumental in that, because it triggered when Adam Warlock was using his fourth skilled channeling effect. But there are some other times where I just feel like her skills aren't as impactful. Like, for example, Captain America, when he lands his fifth skill, there's additional strikes that happen just because the skill connected. With Quicksilver, he summons that tornado, and even though he's doing something else, or even though he's getting hit, that tornado will continue to interact with you and hit you. Whereas with a lot of Scarlet Witch's skills, either they hit you and they do something, or they don't hit you and they do nothing. Aside from, like I said, the third skill clones and the second skill orbs. So it would be interesting to see how they'll change her around, if they're going to add more AoE, if they're going to add more lingering effects, or basically more kind of guaranteed attacks that don't get dodged or kind of stay on the battlefield, like for example Jean Grey's third skill, where the Firebirds kind of roam around the field until they find you again, and then they'll go and try to hit you. But it'll be interesting to see. It's definitely possible that they'll make her overpowered with this uniform, because she's already so strong with the 60% penetration chance. But it will be nice if Netmarble finds a way to balance the character, given how powerful she is right now, given that she's among the top 10 best in the game, and she's, you know, basically due for a huge spike. She may become the best character for no restriction ABX, although they're already hitting the cap of 2 million with characters like Cap, Tier 3, and Ant-Man, but we might just be able to add a third character to that list with that buff. But let me know what you guys think. Of course, we're going to be needing more black antimatter for her as well to upgrade her uniform. It's going to be the same as Thanos in terms of the cost, so you can look forward or not look forward to that after yesterday's video discussing, or 2 days ago's video discussing, the costs of upgrading uniforms. The last thing I want to leave you with, a tip that is for, a possible tip that is for World Boss Ultimate that I got just a couple of hours ago. For those of you that still have World Boss Ultimate attacks to make, if you haven't already played the game mode 5 times today, or if you've watched this video after the reset and you have your 5 chances again, do me a favor. Go into World Boss Ultimate and try to use Storm Tier 2, not Tier 1. Where is Storm, by the way? Storm Tier 2, either as a striker or as one of the 3 members on your team, and see if Proxima's purple spears still do damage to you. Someone in my alliance pointed it out to me that it's possible Storm is the remedy, or is a way to dodge and be immune to those spears, because she gives all allies with Eye of the Storm 50% chance to become immune to lightning damage. I don't know if you need her to be tier 2 for that. It might be a tier 1 passive as well, but it's a very curious thing to try. I can't wait to try it tomorrow on my live stream, so if you don't have a chance to try it yourself, you can hit me up on Twitch and find out. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of the sneak peek number 1. Let me know what you think of Storm if you happen to try it. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. Hit the bell if you don't want to miss any of my content. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.